So they say the best defense is a strong offense. So today we're going to cover a very strong offensive build, which may help you be able to defeat enemies before they can even touch you. So for this build, we have Farideh, Halbenet, Saarvin, and Shevarith. Our Farideh build, as always, is usually going to be focusing on the rear, as when she moves, she has a 75% chance to inflict massive damage to one enemy in 2 zones, which is very strong. We're going to be using the legendary Wreath of Flame headpiece today, as it'll be able to attack all enemies in 3 zones, only inflicting 50% damage, but hopefully that'll be enough damage in order to defeat all these enemies. Sticking to the offensive attack all enemies, we're going to be using the rare Blessed Grimoire Warlock book, spellbook, and this can also be able to attack all enemies in 3 zones, inflicting 75% damage this time. For the weapon, it doesn't really matter. We can either use the legendary item, but I think for this one I'm going to be using the common staff. The rod, what is this? This is going to combine more with our rare boots, as this will force us to move in order to use this more. Sometimes I figure when I use the Fiendish brand, the staff, I tend to not move as much and don't use my boots, even though they're a great option because this has 3 zones. But we're just going to use that, but feel free to use whatever you want. As always use the best armor you have. They're all the same. I always recommend the common or the epic, as they're the easiest to max out. And just for, normally in a pure damage build, you'd want to use the Dragon Cult cubes, but just having a 10% chance in order to get this boost in damage, it's extremely low. If I had it higher, maybe, but for security purposes, we're having a solid 15% increase in attack with the epic belt. So I think this is more the better way to go, as it'll guarantee instead of just taking a chance. So that's that build. For Halbenet, we're going to be focusing less on healing and more on providing the damage boost to our heroes. So we are going to be using his Moonfall Step Epic Boots, and when he moves, he has a chance to attack 2 enemies in 2 zones. Halbenet, we're going to be using my pretty typical, his Moonfall Shout. I believe it's the best because I love being able to heal on demand, but totally subjective, up to you. Feel free to use whatever you want. We are going to be helping our team boost their attack with this Common Holy Necklace, very important for this build. For the weapons, you can really use whatever you want. Just being able to do max damage at 60% of the time. We're going to be using the Sunblade. So always use the best armor you have. And to complement this offensive build, we're going to be giving him the rare lenses, which increases his damage by 10%. Our Saarvin build, you can build them a plethora of ways, but for this episode, we're going to mix it up a little bit. So we're going to be using his rare Mountaineer's skirt, which will give him 1 extra action, which will combine very well with his hatchets. We are going to be using his common, which will be very aggressively played when he can move and attack multiple enemies. We are going to be switching it up today. We're going to be using his common quivers, which will increase everybody's attack. So this will hopefully help us on the boss or the higher level enemies to one-shot them. Normally I would play with these common hatchets, but today I'm going to mix it up. I'm going to play with the rare. I do not have them at level 10 yet, so they're only going to repeat the action up to 2 times if it goes off. Once I get to level 10, it will repeat up to 4 times, and it'll be much more deadly, but I don't have it at the moment. I'm working on that. So we're going to be using that, but feel free to use any weapon. They're all fantastically good. As always, use the best armor you have, and today, as we're focusing on an offensive damage build, normally I'd be using my epic, as it'll give him fury so he can attack 2 times, but we're going to be focusing on my second favorite item in this class, and this is the common amulet of True Strike, which 50% of the time it'll increase his damage output. And then last but not least, Shevarith in this build, she's mostly focusing on attacking as many enemies as she can, and this build focuses on, you can use whatever boots you want. I always recommend the epic or the rare. The rare is the best in this item class in my opinion, but feel free to use what you have. It doesn't impact this build at all. I'm going to be using the Epic Wizard's Hood because it can attack all enemies in one zone out of 2 zones. Focusing on being able to attack everybody, I'm going to be using the Epic Spellbook, which can attack all enemies in 3 zones. Similar to a Spellbook, 50% of the time we're going to be able to attack all enemies in 3 zones with the Legendary Staff. As always, use the best armor you have, and to be on the offensive for this build, we are going to be using the Epic Ring, which will give her a solid increase of 10% damage. So with this build, I usually only recommend it for the lower dungeons for average level players, maybe around like level 15 and under for your heroes. So I would only really recommend it for Harvest Shield Mountain and below. Once you get to Heartcoil Deeps, it's a little bit harder as the boss mechanics change and the types of enemies change. So mostly just for farming and having fun. But let's go into Hidden Forge and show you how it works. So the Anvil of Doomathorn has reawakened and retreated into the unexplored depths of the Hidden Forge. Let's see if we can forge our way to a victory. Okay, so Shevarith Epic Spellbook attacks everybody, clears it up. They didn't have a chance to attack us, which is the main point of this build. So then we have cubes versus monstrosities. Let's go to monstrosities. Most likely rust monsters, yep. Okay. So Farideh is going to go next, and she can attack all enemies. So Saarvin's going to give everybody increase in attack, and then Farideh can hopefully clean everybody up. Easy peasy. Alright, so now we go onto the boss with an attack boost, 50% attack boost from Saarvin. So hopefully we'll be able to one-shot the boss now. Let's give everybody another attack boost from Halbenet, and Shevarith should clean them up nice and easy. Beautiful. No damage taken yet, which is the key to this build. You do not want to take damage because you don't have any main defensive lines, and these are very offensive moves and setups. Okay, so Saarvin can just clean him up real quick. And then Farideh, nothing, but Shevarith should be able to clean up that ogre. Excellent. So on to room 5 now. Still haven't taken any damage. Got some undead. We may take some damage here from the archers. That is okay. Saarvin's going to get a crit and hopefully clean up these first 2. Wonderful. And Shevarith cleans up the final archer, so perfect. Not a lot of damage taken. And on to the second boss. So we still have the attack boost for Halbenet up. So if we move it Shevarith, that was Farideh. Shevarith goes now and then cleans him up. Easy peasy, round number 2. Okay, not a lot of damage taken. So now we have some armors and some rust monsters. Okay, so this isn't going to do much, but it's still going to do a little bit of damage to all of them, so we can whittle the health down a little bit. Okay, and then Halbenet can go in, do some massive damage, and then Shevarith can just attack. And we got the 50% proc for her stack, so attacked all enemies, and we are good. No damage taken again. Okay, now we only have one option. We got some ogres, and now we'll be able to attack everybody and see if it cleans them up. Perfect. And no damage taken once again. Now we're into the third and final boss. Let's see, so let's give everybody an increase of attack. Shevarith will be able to attack. Missed. Okay, Farideh gets her movement on. Let's see if we can get some movement with Saarvin, and we should be able to clean him up with the common hood. And just like that, that is our offensive build. I hope you guys enjoyed, and let's see what we get for our reward. Spin, spin, spin. Ooh, 19 or 9. 19 is a good amount, but I am focusing on the 9 right now. I'm trying to get that to level 10. So that was my offensive build. Hope you guys enjoyed, and good luck.